hang out with an NFL quarterback, huh?
Okay, sports fans, from the decked out and plush 1631 digital studios, it's kickoff time. So snap your chin straps on and get ready to huddle up with Gus.
Wow, what an intro. I don't think I've heard that one since we made that a while ago. But usually, hey, everyone, we're live here. Gus Farad here on Huddle Up with Gus. Thanks for joining me. Go to huddleupwithgus.com. Check me out, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, you can listen to this show and all of our other shows that we've put out there. We're going to get right into it. So joining me today is another great guest, like all the other wonderful guests we've had on our show. Dennis Mallin, you may know him from some recent movies like The Irishman. I was kind of looking at Dennis. I was kind of looking at your bio. You did Of Mice and Men.
Yes.
And my kids always call me Lenny, and I knew that you played Lenny. So I said, "Oh, there's our connection. We're both Lenny."
That's crazy, man. Its last name is Mallin, by the way.
Mallin. Okay, I apologize.
Lenny, man.
They spelled my name wrong on my Pro Bowl jersey, so yeah, I know how you feel. I apologize.
It is what it is. I went through high school, grammar school, college. Denise Mallin. It's just, I'm Dennis Mallin Jr. My poor father, respect the man's name. It's crazy stuff. But thanks for having me on today, Gus. I really appreciate it. I've watched you. As I said earlier, I'm an NFC East guy, growing up in Kearney, New Jersey, kind of shadow of Giant Stadium. And it's just, love watching you. So glad to be on today. Thank you.
Were you the guy at that stadium that was always opening that end zone door?
I can't confirm or deny that, Gus. But rumor has it it was a member of my family. I can't confirm or deny that, though.
Yeah, it depends on what the points were that game, right?
Again, that's what I hear. Rumor has it.
Well, I'll tell you, my brother-in-law's last name is Julius.
Okay.
And he was a bookie. So for like 15 years, I wasn't allowed to talk to him.
Oh, geez.
Now with the NFL, I can talk to him all I want because betting is cool.
Betting is cool. Betting is chic. You can do whatever you want now.
Yeah. So I get you. So you grew up in Kearney. You were born in Newark.
Yeah.
You're a Jersey guy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when you were growing up, and go back to when you can remember the most, but what made you fall in love with sports? Because I know you played soccer and you played with some crazy people when you were in high school, but what was that moment that you remember where you fell in love with sports? Like you said, you're an NFC East guy.
Sure. My father, Dennis Sr., he was just a big Giants fan, a big fan of sports. I remember throwing the baseball around with my dad. I remember he was coaching soccer back in the day. He had me on ice skates at 5 years old. And I fell in love with the competition. I fell in love with the physicality of it. I fell in love with just every aspect. I fell in love with watching the Giants and the Cowboys on a Sunday and the rivalries in the East and just the rivalries throughout the NFL. I remember going to games with him. I remember walking around with him and he had a Giants jersey on and people would come up to him, and I'm 6'1". Dad was 6'1", 6'2", but just looked like a linebacker.
Right.
Just a wide guy, just a big built guy. And people look at him and said, "You played for the Giants." And he's like, "No, yes, you did. Yes, you did." And it's just funny. It gets so deep and so ingrained in you from watching it and feeling the love and the passion from your family and getting out there and competing. You know the deal. It's in your DNA from day one, really.
Yeah, my dad was a mill guy, 42 years in the factories here in Pennsylvania, and
Gotcha.
it's the same thing. He'd come home, we'd play catch, we'd throw baseball, football, it didn't matter. We were always doing something. He never played basketball with me. I don't know, he must not have been any good at basketball, but we had a hoop court in our little town that we were good at. But it was the same thing, and I kind of feel the same way. Like, it wasn't one. I mean, I loved the Steelers growing up in the 70s here in Pittsburgh, right?
Sure.
Terry Bradshaw, that's wwhy I have 12. So
oh my God.
I get what you're saying is like, it's just that going out and playing and then being able to watch it. And like, as a kid, you just have that kind of, oh, this is awesome kind of
Think
feel.
of the historical stuff we went through. 1980, the Miracle on Ice, right?
Oh, yeah.
When the Olympics were pure. and there were college kids playing against the Russian army. I mean, the Mets in '86, Mookie Wilson, right? A dribbler down first base. What's the guy from Boston? Poor guy.
Yeah,
little dribbler tripped over.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Bill Buckner.
Yeah.
I mean, just the history that we have alone. Now, I'm a Giants fan. I'm a New York Ranger fan. I'm a New York Mets fan. So I've got pain. I've got tolerance, right? New York Rangers, I mean,
I'm a Penguin fan. We should have beat you guys.
It's the hockey gods, bro. And I can't, for such big markets. Now, I take nothing away from Tampa. I live in Florida right now. Vasilevsky stands on his head. Stamkos, great team, great players. If they can three-peat, oh my gosh, That's amazing. But it's the bounce of the puck. And the New York Rangers, one of the biggest markets in all of sports, they won it, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
What is going on? Less than 30 years ago, but once in my lifetime. Come on, guys. So, it is what it is. New York Giants.
Thank God you're not a Jets fan then.
Huh?
Thank God you're not a Jets fan then.
That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother story. The Giants, I'm fine with every 8 years, every 8 to 10 years, picking up a new Lombardi. I'm patient that way. The Mets are on fire. So, you got to balance it all out. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but just from a fan perspective, it's interesting coming from such a big market. I never knew college sports was so passionate, college football, until I came to Florida.
Right. Totally different, right?
Totally different. I mean, I'm a Rutgers guy. You've got, Penn State right there. You got a lot of stuff going on, but you're down here. You got Miami, you got the Seminoles, you got the Gators, and, my apologies for excluding a few teams, but they're all competitive.
Yeah.
And people are passionate about what they're doing down here. So it's crazy.
And it is crazy because then you go to the pro sports and it's a little different in Florida, right? I mean, I played for the Dolphins, so we would play the Patriots in Miami, and it was like all Patriots fans in the stands. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of insane that way. But then, like if you go to like you said, a Florida State game, the Hurricanes, packed. Like those fans are insane.
Sure.
But it doesn't correlate over to the pro sports. But in New York, it's kind of just the opposite.
Yeah. I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, I never really got into college football, maybe because Rutgers really never did much. Now Shiano's been back.
You're surrounded by Ivies. Like, no offense to Ryan Fitzpatrick and all the Ivies, but nobody's watching them on Saturday.
No, but here's the thing: why are we in the Big Ten? We're the low level of the Big Ten. Okay, the money aspect, the contracts, I get it, but all the New Jersey talent goes to Penn State, goes to Ohio, goes to Michigan. I understand it. If my kids were of that caliber too, I'd want to get the biggest bang for the buck. And now, I mean, I haven't kept track of the legislation. College kids able to get paid or get some sort of royalties.
It's crazy.
It is what it is. So.
Well, I had this conversation with somebody today, think back to all the incredible players that came out of college and what they missed on, right? Like they were great in college, didn't have an incredible pro career.
Mm-hmm.
Like the kid that left Pitt this year, the receiver, went to USC, got $3 million. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was a Biletnikoff winner, but it's just like, I think back to okay, what would Marino have gotten at Pitt? It's just, you think back to some of these players and it's just insane what's going on. But if they're opening it up, I say go get it. Go get as much as you can.
Hey, I'm a capitalist like the next guy. If they're going to offer it to me, I'm an actor. You're going to throw what at me to go do whatever, I'll do whatever, So it is what it is, man.
So when you were coming up into high school and everything, you're a big sports fan. What did you play? What were the sports that you played?
Sure. I played a lot of ice hockey, kind of, high school, kind of rec ice hockey.
Forward?
I was on the rowing team.
Where were you? Winger, forward? What were you?
I played center and I played left forward.
Yeah.
Because I'm I was always 6'1". I'm about 190, 195 now, but back in the day, man, I was 140 pounds, 145 pounds, soaking wet, flat top. Now I'm losing it, but
Mine's all gray.
It was just so much fun. And then, with the boys on the street, which where I grew up, we played every sport. It's interesting. Go back to soccer. Kearney, New Jersey. It's a hometown of Tony Meola. It's a hometown of John Harkes, USA soccer players.
Yeah.
I believe John is in England. I know his son is a big player, I think from Manchester. I kind of lost track. My apologies if I'm screwing up the team. But Tony is a big commentator for World Cup soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And when I lived in Toms River, New Jersey, I'd run into him every now and again, kind of catch up on them and stuff like that. But he's had a storied career on the soccer side, both of them. And then on the rowing side, I rowed with two Olympic rowers, Jeff Klepacki, big guy. He was actually a band dude. He came out for the team senior year. He was about 6'2", just a
long and lanky
guy.
Yeah,
just a big hulking guy. Got into the varsity boat, okay, whatever they did that year, and then he goes on the Rutgers, and then he goes on to U.S. Rowing Association.
Wow.
And Jennifer Dory kind of came out as a freshman and went right through the Olympic program. So, middle class Kearney, New Jersey, back in the days, kind of Scotch, Irish, Hispanic type town, industrial type town. I don't know if there's something in the water, or water, depending on how you say it.
Yeah.
But we kicked out a lot of good athletes. Athletes.
Well, and the other thing too is that you had multiple ton of sports, right? Like when I grew up in my little town outside of Pittsburgh, we had football, basketball, baseball, soccer, not really. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And nobody even knew what lacrosse was.
No,
and nobody knew that. But that's huge in Long Island and New York and New Jersey. I mean, they've been playing it forever. So growing up, you had a ton of sports that you could play. Do you miss that at all? Like being able to just go out every day and play something? And
it's unfortunately it's like generational. My son Dennis III. We keep it simple in my family. Dennis, right. Dennis, and Dennis. So when my mother yells, we all jump, right?
Yeah. Well, wait. She didn't have there's not a senior, a junior, and a Trey.
I'm junior.
Yeah,
I'm two. I'm D2. My son's D3. But we're Star Wars fans too, so that's a whole nother. But
I am too. So I love it. I like that.
So, but yeah, it's interesting how this generation, good, bad, or indifferent. Now, I coached my son in baseball. I coached him from T-ball, and I don't know where he got it from. He was really good. In Toms River, New Jersey, always puts out some great players.
Right.
He did that, and we got him into martial arts. So, didn't want to have anything to do with ice hockey. Had him on ice, same age as I was back in the day. Funny, Dennis Sr. bought my son like $500 skates, and I had the Bauer turbos like all the way through, like the little plastic stuff. Yeah. And it's interesting, but he picked up on baseball pretty simple, pretty easy, and he even wrestled. I had my son wrestling, so it's just fun. But the video games, you see, I'm ADD now as an adult. Back in the day, I'm not going to tell my father, hey, I can't focus, right? Slap you in the back of the head, get back at it.
Right.
Now, it's totally different. So instead of doing the video games and stuff like that, even today, I can't sit still. I love what I do. And my fiance and I, we run a lot, either swim, work out, bike, always on the move, which at our age, kind of keeps us going, kind of keeps us in shape. So
have you ever taken medication for it?
Scotch.
Well, it's
a lot of red
medication.
Wine.
I mean, when we were little kids, our parents would say, "Oh, he's crying again," and they just rub it on your gums, right? That's what our parents did.
Exactly. I was raised with Chivas Regal. That's what I was raised with, and then I went to college and learned about single malts and kind of played it from there.
Oh my God! Yeah, I didn't want to say what I was raised on.
Right?
Yeah, Mickey's Big Mouth.
Crazy. Yeah.
So you go through high school. What was were you mainly, as you got as a senior, Were you just kind of soccer only, or do you still every sport?
Nah, I jumped out of soccer early on. I was playing against Tony Miola, and I think it was like 7th or 8th grade. And I was still like 4 foot, maybe 5 foot something. And Tony just was 6 foot, whatever. And I remember we had a guest coach, and the coach was yelling at me in Scottish, click his heels, click his heels. I couldn't catch up with him.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep up with him. And I'm looking at it saying, okay, I'm having fun, but now the competition, the level of play is totally beyond me. I'm not going to take this to the next level because my high school team, we were state champs like 4 years running.
Wow.
Just the level of play, Tony, John, those boys, I knew it was time to just hang it up and get out of that aspect of it and just focus on ice hockey. When I got to high school, rowing was big, and we had a really good rowing team. We had national champions, I think in 84, 85, with a varsity 4. And
wow.
that's a big sport. We went to Philadelphia like every weekend on the Schuylkill. That's beautiful down there.
That's right. My daughter went to Haverford and then Penn, so I would always drive by that. But like like rowing was not in Pitts. They weren't rowing on the Allegheny River, right? No. Because by the time you finish, like you take a couple strokes, you're to the next dam. There's nowhere to go.
Well, we rode on the Passaic River, which at one time was ranked as the worst polluted river in the world.
Just don't fall out of the boat, right?
We used to jump in anyway, but that's, crazy kids. But it was it was such a great river. It would kind of wind around, but we can go out for miles and miles and miles and just go out for hours. But we would literally go to Boathouse Row, go to the Schuylkill River with Monsignor Bonner, Temple, some of the big Ivies down there, Ivy High School, St. Joe's Prep.
Yeah.
And here we are, middle class, kind of blue collar, I'll say industrial type kids, and we kick some butt and we compete. They'd have
That's
all
awesome.
the $1 million equipment, and we've got T-shirts as our uniforms, and we're down there making things happen. So
no, that's fun. So you go through high school.
Yep.
You're looking for your next step in life, right? Which is college for most of us. What was that next step? Because then all of a sudden, like for me, all the other sports I played were done. I was just football and going to class, right? So there was you take a different step. So what was that step for you?
Well, right out of high school, I went to culinary school. Figured I was going to be a big chef. I was going to own a restaurant.
Oh, I love that.
17 years old, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Dean's List, first time in my life on the Dean's List. I was a straight C student from birth. Now I'm in college. I'm on the Dean's List. I'm focused, right?
Yeah.
Then I realized it's a lot of nights and weekends.
Yeah.
Then I realized it's tough to have a life. Then I realized I worked with a lot of quality people. I worked at the Rainbow Room. I was up there for the grand opening. Gerard Pangot, Andre Renee, Kevin O'Malley, Paul Robinson. Quality people. Who's divorced 2-3 times?
Yeah.
Who's got a little bit of a narcotics problem? And I'm thinking to myself, these guys are 30. They look like they're 60. They're having a tough life. I want to go back to school. Got out of it, kind of started a catering business. My mother's always been the entrepreneur. Had a catering business, went back to school, went to Rutgers, got that done, and then went to technology school afterwards. I was a 25-year-old technology executive. I wound up being a CEO of a .com back in the rah-rah days in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Just having fun. Having fun.
Like tech, what kind of tech were you doing?
Sure. I was really doing everything. I had a certain niche with IBM Lotus back in the day.
Yeah.
When I came into my .com, we were an internet service provider. We were one of the first DSL providers in Manhattan. And I was employee number 3. I was the gray hair of the firm at 26, 27, 20. I was the gray hair.
Well, how did you get in this? How did you meet these people?
You know what? It's like all you do, you network, right?
Yeah.
You shake hands, you kiss babies, you build relationships. And I remember I was working at this one firm. I was a director, And I'd pick up the phone, and it's this one guy. It's a founder of this firm, and we just built a relationship. We had lunch at one time. He made me an offer. I came in as a VP biz dev, VP of sales, and in 6 months I'm running the entire show. So it was a fun time back in the day. Now I started off my acting career while I was running this company, because what I found real quick, Gus, if you put systems in place and if you hire the right people and put the right people in the right place, life is awesome. Now I worked the company 28/7. Right. I lived it. I breathed it. I was available, all day, all night, weekends, everything else. But I had so much free time that I was able to kind of segue and kind of start playing with different things and building a little lifestyle.
So was that like the whole acting bug? Was that in your family somewhere? Or is it just that you said, I want to try this?
My mother used to perform. My mother was a singer. She sang Carnegie Hall. Okay. Oh, wow. Now, she never pushed any of us to do anything like that. I've tried about a dozen instruments. I can't sing to save my life. If I start singing, man, just take me out, because take me out. My brother and sister, the same thing.
Washington football team now, then.
My brother and sister, the same thing. So a good friend of mine, I'm a Freemason, and a good friend of mine, Jim Demonic, that's his name, Demonic, used to teach at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts and Sciences in Manhattan. And we'd get together every Friday for an adult beverage and a cigar. And I'd show up in a 3-piece suit because I'm coming from work. And he's like, look at this kid. He just came from Central Casting. What a good looking kid. I'm like, yeah. All right, Jim. He goes, man, you got to do this. You got to do that. After browbeating me for a few months, I'm like, all right, what do I need to do? I need to get a headshot. What the hell's a headshot? Get a picture. Right. What do I call it? He threw me a number. I got the headshot, Jim. What's next? He walked me through every aspect of how to get my career started. Okay.
Well, that's awesome.
So when I did Of Mice and Men, right? So our nickname is Lenny, right? I'll see you in 6 months, Lenny. So I jumped into that. It's a role that Malkovich, the great John Malkovich, did. I ain't no Malkovich. Okay. I jumped into it. Gus, I'm driving home from Manhattan, crying. I'm distraught. I'm depressed. I'm stuttering. I'm stammering. I got to go to work the next day, and I'm a mess. I call up Jim. I'm like, Jim, what the hell's going on? He goes, what do you mean? I go, I can't do this anymore. I go, I'm going to finish. I'm going to quit. He goes, well, obviously you're a method actor. Jim, I have no idea what that means, man, but this sucks. I'm out. So I quit for about 2 weeks. I get a call for a China Airlines commercial, and it was a block away from my office. I go, all right, I'm going to show up. I show up to the commercial. Now I'm 6'1", and all the other guys that were auditioning were vertically challenged. All right, 5'1", 5'2". And then they were a little follically challenged. So I'm like, what am I doing here? I walk in, I sit down. Pat Sweeney was the casting director. And she goes, guys, just relax. Just talk to me. She goes, you guys are technology executives. You just helped a company from China relocate to the States.
Oh.
And Gus, I'm looking at it. I literally did that 6 months prior.
Right.
6 months prior. So now I'm thinking, candid camera, what the heck's going on here? What's the joke? So I killed it. You know, when you crush it, you walk out, man, you're floating. I crushed it. So I'm floating back to my office. And I had some fire to put. I had something going on. Totally forgot about it. 2 days later, I get a call. Mr. Mallin, that's my father. Just call me Dennis. What's up?
Right.
We want to book you for this commercial. We're going to pay you X. Who's your agent? And I'm like, I don't have an agent. I don't know if that's a good wage. Can I call you back? Sure. I call my buddy Jim. Dennis, call this guy. He gives me a top agent in New York. The agent calls me back. He goes, what do they offer? He goes, nah, don't worry, kid. We're going to get you double. And I'm thinking, Gus, what is going on here, Gus? I'm getting swept up in it. And I've been on a run ever since, man. It's been 26 years. And I'm having fun. I'm busy. You see my IMDb. You see my stuff, I'm sure. I like roles, man. I like roles that are broken. I like the Lenny type role because now I know how to control myself as a method actor. I mean,
Yeah.
think about method acting, right? Philip Seymour Hoffman, rest in
Yeah.
peace. Heath Ledger, rest in peace. Robin Williams, rest in peace. Al Pacino. Now, my vice is working out. So when I come home at 2 a.m. stressed from a role, I'll go swim, or I'll go hit the weights, or I'll go punch something or run around the block.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of get it out of my
Get
system.
it out.
But it's tough. It's tough stuff, but it's so fulfilling. It's so much fun.
How do you because they always taught us when you play sports, right? You got to be somebody else when you walk into that white line, between those
Sure.
white lines, right?
Yeah.
You're not the same guy. You're not the same nice guy or whatever. And so how, as a method actor,
Sure.
would that be kind of the same? Because it's like, okay, now I got to change. I got to be somebody different that I'm not normally. And is that pretty hard to get used to?
I'm not going to speak for everyone. Okay. But I played the sports. I know getting in the zone.
Yeah.
Okay. You're in the locker room. You're getting in the zone with the guys. You're getting in the zone. It's the same thing. It's similar. Okay. When I do character development, I've got a bunch of scripts. You see my board. I got a bunch of projects coming up. When I do character development, I do the who, what, where, and why. I do my intentions. I get so deep into it. Prior to coming on your show, I did a monologue, and it was a father-son monologue that was really dark, really deep. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've learned something from a gentleman by the name of Ed Milet back in the day, the RAS, Reticular Activation System. How do you get here and get here? Okay. You got to see it. You got to see it. You got to embody it. You got to know. You're a quarterback. You close your eyes. You go through the plays.
Yeah.
Right. You know your playbook inside out. They can wake you up 2 o'clock in the morning. Flat. It's the same thing acting. I'm not worried about the lines. I'm worried about delivering the character and being the best and embodying that character. So I'm able to get into the flow, just like getting pumped up to go out there in a gridiron and go throw down.
Yeah. So when you go, they have film on you, obviously, just like they have film on us, but I got to go work out for somebody. You got to go walk in and you got to be this character that they see that they wrote about, right?
Yep.
Or they're going to do the movie about.
Yes, sir.
And you take that role and you put it how you want it. Is that kind of how it goes when you walk in for an audition?
It's a collaboration. Well, when you walk in for an audition, you've got 30 seconds to just impress the best you can. You really do.
That's
Either
it? 30 seconds? Like it's not long?
First impression. Because look, my age range is 35 to 55.
Yeah.
6'1", brown hair, brown eye. I'm not an anomaly. There's 10 million of me out there. Okay. How can I come in and wow you quickly? You either seen my work and the stuff I've done, because there's a lot of stuff out there, or I've got to hit you quick. I got to make an impression real quick.
Yeah.
So, 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes.
Right.
But I've got to make an impression real quick. So I got to hit you in the head. I got to hit you in the heart, to show you I've got range. Okay. Now it's like anything else from an actor's perspective and from a director's perspective. I'd rather go big because you being my director, Gus, you can always pull me down.
Yeah.
It's tough for you to get me to rise up, but you can always pull me back.
Right.
You got it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So that's kind of, I'd rather go big or go home. I'm going to show you something that's big, that's either in your face, gritty, whatever you need. And then I'm going to allow you as a director to collaborate, and you're going to pull me back or whatever you need me to do. And that's where it's a matter of building trust. You trust your offensive coordinator. You trust your staff. You trust everybody around you. Why? Because you have to. You trust your linemen. You trust your blindside lineman. Why? Because you don't know Lawrence Taylor's coming around. I'm dating myself. You don't know who's coming around, right? Yeah. They're going to crush you. You got to trust the people you surround yourself with. So
now, how do you give that advice to people going in for regular interviews? Is it kind of the same thing?
I coach. I try to coach a few actors every 3-6 months. The best thing I can do is lead by example.
Yeah.
and kind of show them what I'm doing. Because, I don't want to be that teacher. I want to be that working actor that could help and tweak and stuff like that. A lot of people, this, teachers, and no, I'm not looking to insult. Teachers teach, doers do.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to do and have people learn by my example. Does that make sense at all?
No, I completely get it. I mean,
Okay.
that everybody has a different way to learn.
Yeah.
And to understand something. Like, I was not a book guy. The teacher could write everything up on the board and look at but if you went and showed me like science experiments and things like that, like remember cutting the frog open and all that, like I love that stuff. You know what I mean? Like you pin him down and do all that kind of. So I get what you mean.
That's funny.
So you've had a ton of roles.
Yes, sir.
What was the one that you were most excited about? Like, I mean, I played for 7 teams.
Yeah.
I loved all of them, but there's just some that you go to and you're like, ooh, I'm going to go play with Randy Moss. That's pretty cool.
Well, it's kind of, I give the answer and I'll just apologize up front. When people ask Tom Brady what the best Super Bowl win is, he said they're all very special. They're all very unique. Every role that I've had, and it's not a cop-out. It's a true answer. I enjoy working with Pacino. I've been able to work with him 3 times. My first everything was Devil's Advocate.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Okay, Taylor Hackford.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Taylor Hackford, director, big burly Viking guy. He was married. I don't know if he still is to Helen Mirren. They don't call me anymore, so be that as it may. Pacino, Keanu Reeves, Craig T. Nelson. Now here I am. I'm an extra. It's my first SAG feature.
Yeah.
And I come in, I'm bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. The second assistant director, pulls me out of the crowd and literally sits me in the New York City courtroom. Because you remember that big scene?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
It's me. Pacino is right behind me. Keanu Reeves is in front of me. Craig T. Nelson is right next to me. Now, I'm 6'1". Craig T. Nelson's tall. Mr. Pacino, 5 foot, nothing. 5'5", 5'6". And Keanu is about my height. So we're sitting there, and I've always said to myself, and I learned this early on, you need an attention. You're not going to sit there stoic. You need an attention. Now, this is the biggest trial, not only of the movie, but of New York City history. So I've got to be enthralled by it.
Yeah.
I had 2 other guys sitting next to me. Taylor Hackford goes, action. And then he goes, cut. You, out. And I'm looking at like, oh, what did I do? He goes, no, you're fine. Now, here's my first experience, right? I'm getting yelled at. It's not me. It's these 2 people that sat there and didn't do things. I look over my shoulder. There's Mr. Pacino. He goes, don't worry, kid. You're fine. And I'm thinking, Keanu Reeves turns around. He's looking at me, Craig T. Nelson. And I'm like, what just happened?
So what was the difference?
I had an intention. It's a courtroom scene. I'm looking around. I'm looking like I'm interested.
Yeah.
Apparently these 2 guys were sitting there stoic with no animation, with no life to them. Whatever. But that was such a great learning experience. And, that was my first. Now here's the scene. And the scene, if you've seen the movie, you've seen my ugly mug dozens of times. When we're coming out of the courtroom scene, I come out the back door. I turn. I am mugging the camera. I am doing what you taught not to do. Yeah. I am walking straight into the camera, 10, 12 seconds, and I'm thinking I'm going to get cut. I'm in the movie, walking straight into the camera. And here comes Keanu, Mr. Pacino, Craig T. Nelson busting right in front of me. It is hysterical. But
I think that, probably everything is so scripted that when they get somebody that is off script a little bit, the director probably loves it. Like maybe not all the time, but
sure.
You know what I mean? I'm just kind of guessing on that, but
a lot of times, time is money. Okay. Yeah. So when you've got big features, you've got to move things along. You've got to move things along pretty quick. So everything is pretty choreographed, pretty coordinated. I was in Godzilla. Similar situation. I'm down on Wall Street.
Which one?
Godzilla, Matthew Broderick. I know.
Oh, yeah.
Down by Wall Street.
Yeah.
And I got picked out of the crowd. Now I'm standing in next to the principals. Now I created my intention because, the guy says, stand there. Okay. And I'm thinking, okay, who am I? Who am I? What am I doing? What am I all about? I'm thinking, you know what? I'm a New York City councilman. I'm a good councilman. What do good councilmen do? We wave to our constituents. I'm blowing kisses. I'm waving. I'm laughing at the mayor's dumb jokes.
Yeah.
Okay. The director kept me in. And he kept me in because I was showing him something. Now, I wasn't scripted. I shouldn't have been there. But Gus, I showed him something and he kept me in. So the principal, the A team comes in, the principal actors come in, and they keep me right there. And they gave me such an angle to work. I was able to do my thing. And again, you see me in this feature film. And here I am. What am I now? 4 or 5 months into it. And here I am on 2 big features that you see me. So it's just,
It's been great, huh? It's been, from a tech guy to just saying, I'm going to go try this. I got a buddy, he's telling me go do this. I go do it. I hated it. I'm going to cry. And then all of a sudden I get an airline commercial and then it's like, boom, I'm out. So when did you make the separation from the business world?
You completely? See, truth be told, I'm an entrepreneur. So I always kept, and I'm organized enough, Gus, where I can keep all the balls in the air.
Yeah.
So I did technology.
Well, you have ADHD, that's why.
I did technology as long as I can, because let's face it, you're on set, you got one of these with you and a laptop, you can do anything.
Right.
And that's what I did. As I'm on set, I'm conducting business. I'm doing what I have to do. I still have another form of revenue. I've got, different forms, different residual income coming in while I'm doing this. But I've got to tell you, over the last, I guess, 3, 4, going on 5 years, this has been my sole focus. This is all I do. And when I coach newer actors, I tell them, look, it's show business, not show friends. Okay. Yeah. You've got to manage this like you're running a widget company. What's a widget? It doesn't matter. This is your business. This is Gus Inc. This is Dennis Inc.
Yeah.
So I look to push the ball forward every day. Being on your show. This is huge. Doing auditions, emailing, building a network of people, just like I did in my technology days, Gus. Building a network, building relationships, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right?
Right.
I learned that stuff early on, baptized by fire at a young age. I've kept that same work ethic and the same relationships throughout my entire life. So now I'm brought on to produce movies, and I'm able to reach out to people that I know, I trust, and I love to come in and be part of the crew, be the director, and of course, act with me. Yeah. So, I always joke around. What advice do you give to new actors? I tell them to run away quick, because you need to get used to the word no and rejection, which, I've got thick skin. You've got thick skin. The next generation, I'm not going to give you a participation trophy. You've got to get used to saying, hey, kid, you suck. You should quit and keep moving on. That's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough.
That is so tough for so many kids nowadays, right? Because I saw something the other day that it's like, it was about Michael Jordan's mom, when he was in high school. And I think he was in 9th grade or something, didn't make the team. Mm-hmm. There were a bunch of guys that made the team. He didn't make it.
Sure.
And it was like the thing on the bottom was, she didn't go to the principal. She didn't go to the coach. She didn't go complain about that Michael didn't make the team. She went to him and said, if you want to make the team, your butt better be in the gym every day, working harder and harder. Right. That's the story. That's kind of like what life is like, nobody's giving you anything. I don't care if my dad went and complained. I mean, my dad got kicked out of every gym we've ever been in because he yelled at everybody. Right. But it was also the work ethic he gave me to say that no matter what, through pain, through injury, through everything, you just keep doing what you love to do.
Sure.
And, those are big lessons that it's hard to teach people.
My unfortunately, I have a great management team. Natalie Perry, one of my managers.
Yeah.
Definitely up and coming. I mean, she's got so much going on. I think I have a lot of energy. She gives me a run for my money, and I'm glad we don't go for the same roles.
Right.
I love her dearly. She basically says I'm one of the hardest working actors that she knows, and she's a hard working actor. And maybe it comes from the stress I put on myself. Maybe it comes from the goals I have for myself. You see, nobody teaches goals in high school, grammar school, college, right?
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to have mentors and read the right books and surround myself with the right people through various aspects of my life. So you've got to have goals that scare you. You've got to have goals that if you achieve them, you're like, oh my, how did that happen?
Right.
It happens through faith, hard work, and tenacity. And I'll look, I picked up a lot of great roles. I've lost a lot of great roles, but I will outwork anyone that I'm going up against. I will, because that's ingrained in who I am and what I'm all about. NFL quarterback. Gee, you just got picked up just because you're a good looking guy and you're pretty good at what you do, right? Hell no. You grinded out. You took your hits. You did your reps. You did what you had to do. You had your bloody nose. You broke this. You were sore. You did what you had to do and you kept going, right?
Yeah.
I don't, the numbers better than I, of course, but what is it? 1% of high school players playing college. And then from that, what goes to the NFL? It's crazy.
Yeah. So, it's a lot. It's, it seems like the NFL is massive and there's a lot of people that play it, but when you really look at it, it's not. They just have the highest ratings out of anybody. I think there was the top 100 shows. NFL had 92 of them.
Really?
It has the highest ratings.
Okay.
So, everybody watches it. So I get what you're saying. And it's just, it's amazing to me, similarities in everything. And for me, why I started this show was you can tie it all back into sports in a way, right?
Sure.
Because like you talked about, I had to learn how to be in the zone. I had to learn how to get, where I didn't get to play. The coach said no. You know what I mean? You don't win every game.
No.
And so those are things that those lessons that we learn from sports, I always feel like help us improve. And, when I see like schools and people want to take sports out of everything, I'm just like, no.
It's a shame. Yeah. It's a shame. I mean, there's so much that our kids are losing out on. And look, we're not going to solve the world's problems in an hour, on your show, unfortunately, right?
Right.
But, we can do the best we can for ourselves, for our kids, our grandkids and whatnot. And that's where it's got to start. It's got to start with your own. You got to take care of your own first.
Right.
And hopefully you're making a major impact on your immediate world, your microcosm, and hopefully that's affecting the macrocosm.
Right, exactly.
And that's all you can do. I mean, I look at it, this is my sport. I love going to the gym. I train a lot and I train hard. And, I've got 20-something-year-olds asking me, why do I train so hard? And first they think I'm a lot younger because I'm training so hard, which is pretty cool. And because my sport is very competitive. It really is. And I got to stay at the top of my game.
What's the one workout or equipment that you got to do, but you hate doing it?
Squats. Anything with legs. Anything with legs. I've had 2 hernias in my life, and I've got chicken legs, Gus. I say it nationally, globally, and if you look
no wonder we only see you from the waist up in all these movies.
I've got that body. But my fiance tells me my legs look good, and I love her, and I appreciate it. I've ice hockey legs, rowing legs, soccer legs. And my mother is built like a dancer, tall and lean. My father, my brother are the linebackers. My sister takes after the mailman. I don't know where she comes from. She's a short, little, petite thing.
There were a lot of people in Kearney, way back when. A lot
What's
of
that?
people. I said there were a lot of people back in Kearney. We don't know like who stopped at your house. You know, it might have been the milkman. It might have been the mailman.
I ain't going there, Gus. Gonna get me in trouble. I'm not touching that, man.
Hey, you started it, not me.
Hey, you talking bad about my sister now, okay?
Uh-oh. Now it comes out. It's method acting coming out 101.
Hey, guilty as charged, you know?
Yeah. All right. So before we go,
Yes.
I got to ask, what can we see from you coming up in the future? Where
Sure.
can people find you and follow you? And do you have any foundations or any charities that you're working with?
So it's funny you say about the charities, okay? I'm creating kind of what we call like a multiverse. I'm working on a website right now, and I don't have fans, man. I've got friends, people I can help, people I can reach out to, people I can impact. So we're working on that right now. The master plan, okay, is to not only act, and acting is the driving force behind everything, but to develop a foundation on different principles that my father raised us on.
Right.
Doing that and having the movies, having that fund the different aspects of the foundation. I've got a Western out there that actually, it just lit up the world, Killer Miller. We've won 70 Best Movie Awards. I've garnered 3 Best Actors.
Wow.
It took me a year. I grew out my hair. It took me a year, and I had this beard going on. Unlawful Duties. It's a short that's on Amazon Prime right now. We've got 2 million views, Gus.
Wow.
2 million views, man. So that's hot stuff.
Yeah.
We're turning that into a feature. I'm not sure when, but I'm on it. We've got Eric Roberts that's locked into it. Robert Lasordo that's locked into it. I'm really excited about that. I'm in about 2/3 of that movie, so that's going to be exciting. I've got The Italians, which is very interesting. It's a kind of global mafia tied in criminal series. Zach Dieppe, the writer director, has enough material to do 14 seasons.
Jeez.
Now, I'm playing a pivotal character. I'm the assistant New York Commissioner of Homeland Security. I'm one of the dirtiest politicians in all of New York. And again, it goes back to what I do. I look for the gritty, broken characters because there's meat to it, right?
Yeah.
So please look for me on Facebook, of course. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm new to TikTok. I'm learning how to TikTok. My social media
you're doing TikTok.
my social media manager says I need to be on it.
Well, all you got to do is like your workouts. Like like I'm swimming today. Here we go. Boom. So
Go to my TikTok. You know what he says to me? He goes, I follow you. You got a pretty interesting life anyway. He goes, when you're at the gym, just get the phone out and just work out. So you know what I did the other day? I did just that. And I throw it on TikTok. The monologue I did earlier, I threw on TikTok. And it just, once it gets picked up, it goes viral. Yeah. And that's what people look at. You know, again, not that it's a whole new world to us, but it's another aspect where I can reach a lot more people, and really just go from there.
Can you, or will you get in trouble? Can you like do your character, right? Like, so like you're talking about the Italians, you're doing this character, like say you're just walking down the street and you're in New York somewhere and you all of a sudden you go into character mode and do a TikTok. Is that legal or not legal for you?
I guess it's legal because all the kids are doing it. You see these, what do they call those flash mobs? Yeah. They're stopping in the middle of Fifth Avenue and they're dancing, they're doing their thing. I mean, that's not me. So it'll be out of character for me to do anything like that. But they do that all the time. So it's really,
that would just be pretty cool. Like your TikTok is like one of your characters you created, right? That would be really neat.
I think they do want to have a certain mystique.
Yeah.
And they want to have a glimpse into what you're doing outside of work.
Yeah.
I've got enough auditions. I've got enough clips from movies where every day I'm throwing a new clip up there from either a monologue, an audition, or from a movie that I'm a part of while I'm at the gym and I'm videotaping me jumping rope or doing abs or doing something or swimming. So, it's a whole interesting world. See, I've always looked at it. I've always said microblogging is like virtual voyeurism.
Yeah.
But people want in.
They do.
you know, I'll let him into a certain aspect of it. And that's, as I said from the start, Gus, if I can help anybody with anything at all, reach out. I watched a podcast, I guess, about a year ago, and there was one of the founders of Walmart. The guy gave his cell phone number out in this podcast. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, that's kind of crazy. But he's like, look, I'm worth billions of dollars. Here's my cell phone. Might take me a little bit to get back to you, but I'll get back to you. I was just blown away by this guy serving. Huh?
Did you call him?
I did not. Because I'm like, I got nothing to ask him. And what am I going to say? Hey, man, my stock's losing money. What am I going to say to this guy? You know what I think would be a great movie is just about how you people watch. Like, I go to Walmart. I don't go in. Like, you can go and sit and people watch. Yeah.
It's amazing what you see.
Oh, sure.
Like, they just tell them, like, keep the people coming, right? Like, it's crazy.
It's humanity at its best.
Or worse, whatever way you want to look at it.
It is what it is.
It is. Now, hey, I appreciate you joining me today. It was so much fun, and it was great to get to know you. So it was the Italians now. Killer Miller, is that right?
Killer Miller, yes, sir.
Killer Miller, like long hair, beard, cowboy. You wear chaps.
Yeah, you had one of the pictures on.
Yeah,
as you were kind of flowing through, and it took me a year to grow out the hair. And here, I'm Italian, so it gets curly. So it was down to here. You pull it out, it was down to here.
Yeah,
and that took a full year. And I've got to grow a little beard back. I'm doing something at the end of this month. I'm playing a Vietnam vet with PTSD, and the producer goes, "I want that hair. I want that beard." I go, "Well, you got to wait a year.
Yeah,
you got to pay me half the money now."
Yeah,
all right.
It costs money to grow the beard, right?
Because I'm not going to take everything else.
Yeah.
You want me to be the businessman put together? It ain't going to happen with big hair and a big beard.
Right.
So exactly. If you're going to put me on hold and block me for that time.
Well, you could do the man bun thing like that.
I did. It's not pretty. That's
not pretty.
Yeah, that's an era of my life that yeah.
Anyway. I had cornrows once, so I know what you mean.
You did. I'd love to see that.
I don't know if that picture will ever come out.
Yeah. No. Well, there's a picture on my IMDb that I'm glad you didn't touch on today. So
maybe we'll put that for the social.
I did. I was in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, so I'll let you go. Let you go check it out.
We'll have to see that one. That's a good one. All right, Lenny, or D2. You got lots of nicknames already on the show.
Whatever.
So. Yeah.
Hey, so why don't you join me for a quick TikTok as we're closing up?
Sure. Let's go.
Ready? All right. So here I am doing Huddle Up with Gus Frerotte, great NFL quarterback. We're finishing up. We're on for about an hour, over an hour. And Gus, say hi.
Hey, everyone. How you doing, TikTok?
I love it. Thanks a lot, guys. That's it.
That's it.
Next. Post.
Look at that.
30 seconds.
Now you're like a millennial. You're like 19 years old. You're on TikTok. You're going back in time. Love it.
Don't ever curse me like that again, all right? Don't ever, That's funny. That's funny. You're next. You get on TikTok, you find me.
All right. I will. All right, buddy. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Thank you, Gus.
Thanks for joining us on Huddle Up with Gus. What a great show. Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you.
And I like the D2. That's my favorite because I was a junior, and I know what it's like to be called junior. I wish I would have been G2. That would have been like I would have been before Gatorade. You know what I mean?
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So, next time.
All right. Enjoy yourself. Go get a swim in.
You too.
All right. See you.
Bye.
All right, folks. Hey, thanks for joining me on that great live episode with Dennis. It was incredible to hear his story, everything that he's up to, and appreciate you joining me. Hey, Dennis, behind the scenes, our guy Sonar. Take a quick break and go to the bathroom.
Do you have an old car sitting around your house? Maybe you're even paying insurance on it. Well, if you don't need that car anymore, donate it, running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. They will even come and pick it up for free and give you a receipt for a tax donation. Breast cancer screening could save the life of someone you love. And right now, they need your help. They want to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And that's what your old car helps to pay for. So get your phone out and call right now to donate your car to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. Remember, they will come pick it up for free and give you a tax donation receipt. Call right now at 800-245-1375. 800-245-1375. That's 800-245-1375. 800-245-1375.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-296-0150. 800-296-0150. 800-296-0150. That's 800-296-0150.
Bill, you there?
Yeah, this is Bill from Chicago. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a fantastic thing to listen to. Gus, you always have fantastic interviews and everything else going on there. And Dennis, welcome to Huddle Up with Gus.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I always have fun and glad to be on with Gus today. Thank you.
Yeah, it sounded great. One of the questions I had while we were, one of the questions I got for you, Dennis, is what you've been in quite a few movies. Obviously, this was your longest that you had with Al Pacino and everybody in The Irishman. But what has been your longest production? Not just longest movie, but what project have you been in production the longest?
Sure. Well, if you look at my IMDb, and that's a shameless plug, I've got about 20 features in pre-production, but the longest production that I've been on so far is Daddy, We're Back. It's a dramedy that we did actually during COVID down here in Tampa, and I played Daddy, and it was we're a mixed family. Long story short, the log line, I'm a divorced real estate developer that is finally ready to get back at the dating scene. And my 30-year-old daughters, my twins, moved back in with me. So they kind of stifle my, my getting my flow back on. But we did 8 episodes. We kind of took our time because of COVID, but that was about. It took like 3-4 months to get those episodes in, and that's up on YouTube. We got picked up by two networks so far, and the girls, the producers, my twins, the Irish twins, have already written season 2. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that. But outside of the stuff in pre-production, Bill, that would be my longest project that I've worked on.
Well, hey,
that's great. I look forward to watching.
Thank you so
you
much.
Guys,
it's on YouTube, so please check it out.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank
Bill.
you. Yeah. So wait, it's a shock to me that you're playing a broken dad.
So.
Oh, okay. All right. Terry, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. You have a question for Dennis?
I do. I did not see The Irishman, and I heard it was fabulous.
Okay.
My question to you actually is about another movie you mentioned. I want to know, is Keanu Reeves as nice as everybody says in real life?
So Keanu Reeves is a sweetheart. Now, so here's the thing. Keanu, so he's got a few years on me, but if you look at kind of an age perspective and the roles that we both go after, I go after the same roles that he does. Now, he is Keanu Reeves, okay? Sweetheart of a guy, altruistic, philanthropic, loved by everyone. He's gone through a bunch of tough stuff in his life, which early on, if you know his story, but no, totally a sweetheart. Totally a sweetheart. Yeah, no, I was fortunate enough to meet with him, spend some time with him, share some words with him. Nice guy, very, very giving from an actor's perspective and humanistic perspective. Yeah, real man amongst men.
What about De Niro?
I've never worked directly with Mr. De Niro. So I don't know much about him from that perspective. I know when Mr. Pacino walked into Devil's Advocate, Terry, you could hear a pin drop on set, which is really uncommon because there's so much noise and so much buzz going on. But literally there's like a hush that came over the crowd. You look over your shoulder and there's Mr. Pacino. So, but he is, as short in stature, he's such a giant in the business, such a giant in the industry, and again, a very giving actor.
So his presence just created that silence.
His presence, his aura, what he expects of himself, what he expects of the people around him. A good actor, a professional, brings everybody to the next level. And I know that's what he does and how he helps other people, and that helps him get the best out of him also.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, Bill, I appreciate you. Dennis, I don't know where Bill came from, but I appreciate you taking a few minutes to answer some of our people that were listening calls. Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. I was expecting you to say, yeah, Keanu Reeves brought out a football. We were playing, he's going back to his replacement days, and we just throw football.
We have a question from Facebook, Gus.
Oh, what's the question from Facebook?
Yeah, well, the question is, Dennis, you've worked with a lot of great actors, as you were outlining in your interview. Have you ever been starstruck by any particular actor?
All the time, but you got to keep it together. I was on set of Woody Allen's Celebrity. I went to a cattle call, and there I am in front of Woody Allen. Love him, hate him, it doesn't matter. He is Woody Allen. And then I'm on set. I get Kenneth Branagh, which is one of my mentors from afar. Whenever I need a master's class, I watch Hamlet, that he produced, directed, and starred in Hamlet. So I was starstruck with him being 2 inches away from me. Charlize Theron, 2 inches away from me. But it's like anything else, right? I walk in the room and there's the great Gus Frerotte. You got to be cool. You got to be professional. Okay. And that's what it comes down to. If I was like, oh my God, Keanu, they would have kicked me out.
I think you would get that way if you met Eli Manning. I think you might get that way. You might fanboy out a little bit if you met Eli Manning.
That's a whole nother story, guys. That's that's
you are a Giants fan.
That's my boy Eli. Or if I met Mark Messier. So true story. I met Adam Graves.
Yeah.
Adam works for the New York Ranger organization, and there's a deli across the street from the Garden. And I was up there years ago, and I turn around, there's Gravy. And I'm like, Mr. Graves, he's like, hey, how you doing? I go, Dennis Mallin. And I'm like, how are you? I was like oozing, and Adam's like looking around like, oh my God. So he got out of there real quick, and I felt bad afterwards. I'm in LaGuardia Airport, and I see Mike Richter, New York Ranger goalie, 94.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he's a short guy, and I picked him out of a crowd, and he's walking by me wearing whatever, and I go, Mr. Richter. He looked up. I go, man, thank you so much. Damn glad to meet you. I got a little gaga, but when I'm on set, you got to.
Oh yeah, you can't be like that. I can't go out before a game and go like playing like when I was a rookie and I'm playing against one of the guys I've always watched, like Elway, and be like, oh my God,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you can't, you just can't do that. Yeah, I get it.
It comes back to staying in the zone, and that's what it comes down to.
Exactly.
I mean, working in Manhattan, I walked and I came across a lot of people. They're living their life like you are. Look, I have people recognize me, and it's always the most inconvenient time. I'm in Walmart getting tires, and I hear, "Oh my God." And I'm looking around thinking, who's here? That's you. You did that commercial. You're in that movie. And then I'm like, hey, then I just kind of catch my breath. I'm like, this is pretty cool. Hey, how are you? Can you take sure, let's take a picture. My hair, I'm all messed. I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Oh, that's the best.
But
I've been there.
Yeah, of course. But when you're on set, look, they're definitely at a level, but you got to be a professional. You got to keep it together.
Yeah, you have to, and sometimes it's difficult, and but it's part of life. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I appreciate you so much, man, for taking that extra time and spending with us. And if you want to stay on and listen, I'm going to do a whole nother hour on quarterbacks. So go through this 2022 season.
Sure.
We may talk about Daniel Jones a little bit. I don't know. We'll see.
What do you think?
Hey, I like the team. I thought they did a great job in the draft. So I'm excited to see what they got.
Yeah.
I think that NFC East may be back a little bit.
The NFC East is always, I'll just tell you, always competitive, man, but soft.
Well, it's not what it used to be, right? It wasn't like when I came in, it was, we're going to run the football. We're going to run power down your throat.
Yeah.
We're going to do big play action.
Yeah.
I think every team is kind of that way now, except for the Ravens. The Ravens are the team now that will just run the ball down your throat.
Sure.
So, so that's it, man. Hey, I appreciate you. Good luck with everything you're doing, and hopefully we can stay in touch.
Without a doubt, Gus. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Terry, team. Thank
goodbye.
you, guys and gals.
All right, everyone. Hey, that was Dennis. Thank you all for calling in. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining us on Huddle Up with Gus. We're going to get into another hour here of talking about NFL quarterbacks and the craziness that went on this whole year. It was insane so far through the preseason and the offseason. So let's get into it. One of the things I always think about when you're talking about quarterbacks is the change and how hard it is. And it is a hard thing to do, to change over from one quarterback to another on your team, because it's a whole nother guy to listen to, how they react to people, how they deal with everyone. The coaches have to know it. The players have to know it. And we had so many changes this year. And let's just go down the list. There's when we'll go alphabetical order. If you look at Arizona, Kyler Murray's still there. I think Kyler Murray's a great quarterback. He's fun to watch, but I got to see him play the whole season the way he starts it. I've seen him a few years now where it's kind of flooded at the end. I don't know if that's coaching or people around him, but he has the tools. I'm worried that they're not going to have D-Hop to start the season, but I think Kyler Murray's we've seen him win games. He can do incredible things with his feet, but we got to see him do it all year. I don't know if you have any things you want to talk about Kyler Murray, give me a call. At the number that's scrolling on the screen, that number again, let me see. I got it right here. It's 1-877-711-5611. Call in. Let's talk about it. If you go to the next team, the Falcons, look, the Falcons, they had a guy in Matty Ice who's been there forever. I don't know how long Matt's been there, but he's a long-term guy for the Falcons. I talked to my sons about why they moved on from Matt, right? And I think they were just ready. I think the team was ready. The town was ready. The owner was ready. I think they were ready to kind of go to a different quarterback. So they go out and they get Marcus Mariota. We've seen him play. He's a little different than a player than Matt Ryan. So I think that they're bringing in a little different element. Somebody can run with their feet. Matt was an incredible quarterback. Goes to the Colts. The Colts kind of have this thing over the last so many years where they're bringing in quarterbacks kind of at the end of their career, and hopefully they can put it together and win one. But, Falcons with Mariota, I like him. It's going to be interesting to watch him this year. I don't know what all their parts are. they've lost some guys. I think their line. I think somebody just retired from their line. So it's going to be interesting to see. But you never can count out any team in the NFL because the parity is so great, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. If we go to the B's, we went through the A's, Kyler Murray. We got a caller already. All right, who we got on?
Hey, Gus.
Hey, Gary. How are you doing?
Good, man. How you doing? I'm enjoying your show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You got a question for me on QBs or whatever you want?
I do. I've been following the Steelers, and they have 3 quarterbacks. And obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Trubisky and obviously Pickens is coming in. But the thing that grabs me, and as a quarterback, I want to know your answer. When you read everything, they keep talking about there's a criterion that they're going to be using to pick the one to start. But when the quarterbacks are interviewed, they say they have no idea what that criterion is. Is that normal?
Yeah, that pretty much is normal, especially in a competition that, the coaches are going to have certain things they're going to look for. They're not going to tell you, right? They're not going to tell us out in the field, but they want to look for certain things. I just did a show on this yesterday here in Pittsburgh on 93.7 The Fan. And, they're going to put these 3 guys in Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, and Kenny Pickett through the ringer as much as they can, going whole way up through training camp, right? Because they have to find out in who can handle the pressure, right? Who can handle it? Who's going to be good under pressure? Who's going to be able to complete the ball? Who's going to be accurate? What guy do we need right now? We all know the Steelers defense has been great for a long time, Gary. And, that's one thing we always understood is like, just don't make mistakes on offense. Their defense is probably going to win the game for you. So I think as far as the criteria goes, nobody knows what the offensive coordinator and Coach Tomlin are looking for. But in my opinion, I think Mitch Trubisky is going to win the job. And if he does win that job, which I think he's going to, I would just keep Mason Rudolph, let Kenny Pickett sit a year as the 3rd string guy and learn and take in as much, get bigger, faster, stronger, which you got to do in the NFL, and then, go out. Because I don't care who goes in this year. Once Big Ben left the Steelers, it's going to be hard to replace him no matter who comes in, if you know what I mean, Gary.
Yeah, right. That's a great answer. I didn't realize that. I just thought you're asking me to compete. I should know what I'm supposed to be doing to compete. Or is that
don't fumble, don't take sacks, and complete the pass, right? And don't throw interceptions. That's kind of the criteria that every quarterback lives by.
Got it.
All right, thanks, Gary. Thanks for calling. Appreciate you.
All right, Gus. See you, man.
See ya. All right, there you go, Gary. Yeah. Oh no, Gabe. Yeah, I think Gabe's calling in from the golf course. Gabe, how you doing, buddy?
We're good. We're on hole 8.
Oh, you and Gunnar out there together.
Yeah.
All right, give me your question, Gabe.
What were you guys talking about?
We're talking about NFL QBs. What do you got for me?
Who's the best quarterback of all time under 6 foot?
Best quarterback of all time under 6 foot. Wow. Gunnar just bringing a tough one in. Well, was Mike Vick under 6 foot?
I think he's 6. I think he's 6 foot exactly.
Who would you two say? Because I want to pick your brains for a second. Who would you two say was the best quarterback in your minds?
Kyler Murray. That's all I can think of.
So you think Kyler? Russell, what's Russell Wilson? Is he under 6 foot?
Oh yeah, Russell Wilson. Drew Brees. He's like 5'11". Yeah, Drew Brees like 5'11" probably, but they're probably listed as 6 foot. Above the stats.
You guys don't want to throw Doug Flutie in there?
I was gonna say Doug Flutie. What about Jim McMahon?
Jim McMahon, he wasn't under 6 foot, was he?
I don't know. I can't tell from those throwback games.
Yeah, and plus, he always looked a little smaller because he was always standing by the fridge. So I don't know. We'd have to get Mike Tomczak on and ask him. But when you guys talk about that,
85 Bears, 50.
85 Bears. Yeah, I just think that being under 6 foot really, those guys weren't given a chance until recently. Like Doug Flutie's one of the first. There's a couple guys, maybe Fran Tarkenton back in the day, but there's not many guys that have been under 6 foot who really had an opportunity. But we've seen a few more come out. Russell Wilson. I don't know if Vic was under 6 foot or not. But that was a great guy. But there are a lot of great quarterbacks that were under 6 foot, and if they can compete and they can play and win games, I think that they can make any NFL team. What do you guys think?
Nice, yeah. It was good. Doug Flutie. What?
All right. You're on hole 8. What's the scores?
I'm +2 through 7. Gunner's probably a +10, I think. Yeah, probably around there. But looking,
all right,
there's a turtle out here. We're checking them out.
All right. Have a great round, guys. And we'll see you at home tonight.
All right. See ya.
See ya. Oh my gosh, people are just calling in. Drano, what's happening? Drano, you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
How you doing?
Doing good. Am I on or what? I was listening to.
Oh, you are on. You're on live with Huddle Up with Gus. So I appreciate you joining me. What's up, Drano?
So, since you're talking about quarterbacks, and we've had our chat. So tell me how important rhythm is for a quarterback in the league to perform at a high level.
Well, I think, you work so hard on rhythm as far as quarterbacking go because your steps have to be in sync. Your throws have to be in sync. If I want to throw a certain kind of route, I can't take a 5-step drop. I got to take a 3-step drop or a 7-step drop. So the rhythm of the game is very important to quarterbacks. And we saw that happen all the time when you used to watch Joe Montana play. Like, it was a big rhythm passing game. And even to this day, when guys are in shotgun all the time, if you want to throw a timing route, you better have that rhythm down with your footwork. And so it's very important. And then some throws, right, that you make are just rhythm throws. It's like, Drano, I know you're big into golf. All this kind of language, but when you have that rhythm swing, it's not, I got to go get this 8-iron. It's just, okay, I can just swing and then boom, perfect rhythm. There's throws that you can make like that. And there's throws that, hey, I got to take a little off. And there's throws where I got to go get this one. I got to put it in there. And so when you ask about quarterbacks and rhythm, it's a big part of the game.
Right. And then you hit the nail on the head. So with that, relative to golf, obviously, the guys that play well have a great rhythm in their swing, and when they're on and they have their rhythm, they're probably shooting a low score. When they're off, they're probably not having a great day, kind of like the QBs when they get maybe some defense in their face or whatever that may be. And then, as you mentioned, now all of a sudden you got to hit that flop shot. Well, that's like throwing that down and out timing kind of thing. So there's a lot of parallels with golf and playing QB. And it just brought that to my attention. I started thinking about it, and I said, holy smokes, there's more there than I ever thought about.
Yeah, I would say that's why you see a lot of QBs playing golf. I mean, a lot of guys from the NFL play golf nowadays. I mean, it's a sport that everyone can play. Drano, you know that. You caddied for Kenny Perry, a bunch of guys. You've been on the tour. You have your own foundation now. And I just think that, there is a big parallel to that, to understanding timing, your hands, everything. I think quarterbacks kind of get that. And then having the mentality to play golf is very similar to quarterback because you got to be in your head. You got to compete. And, I think it's a lot of similarities in both sports.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know, did you happen to watch any of the match with the 4 quarterbacks at all?
I did. I would say Josh Allen was not in rhythm.
Well, you know what? Josh Allen has the least experience, but I can tell you he's got lots of potential. He sure can putt the ball. But yeah, that was, to watch those four quarterbacks, they all kind of do it a different way. But, now you put a golf club in their hand and, Mahomes really, played well. And then obviously Brady and Rodgers kind of ham and egged it. And it was pretty fun to watch. But again, these guys, for the most part, they'll be the first to tell you they took the game up late. Kind of like what you did, I mean, I don't know, you might have played at a younger age, but I don't think these guys were playing much golf when they were teens.
Well, no, you really don't. I mean, if you want to, I mean, there are some guys, it depends on where you grew up, who your parents were, things like that when a lot of us were younger. But a lot of guys, I didn't play until I was in college. And so you miss that kind of that muscle memory, that skill set that your brain learns when you're young. And sometimes when you pick it up when you're older, it takes a lot of practice to get good. It's kind of like, I think it's, if you think about playing the piano, right? If you can do it when you're young, you flow through it. If you're old and you're trying to play it, man, it's going to take you a long, long time to learn it.
For sure. Well, it's great to chat with you. I know you got others lined up here. I do want to say they got a good caddy friend of mine that's a huge Redskins fan, and he sure would like to be tagging along if we ever get to tee it up at Oakmont.
Oh, I would love it. Yeah, bring him on. Anybody, as long as he's giving me strokes, I'm cool with it, Drano.
Oh, he'll be giving you strokes. He's better than me by miles. So, I mean, he'll definitely be doing that. All right. Thanks, Gus. Take care. Have a good one.
Thanks for calling, Drano. Appreciate you, man. All right, everyone. We're back at it. It's amazing. We've had some callers. We talked a lot about quarterbacks, but this next guy I want to talk about a little bit, I'm always impressed with. People don't give him the credit I think that he is due, but Lamar Jackson at the Ravens, to me, I love watching him. I think he does incredible things. No one in the NFL can do the stuff that he does. He's an amazing runner, thrower. He can pocket pass. For me personally, I would love to see him with, a top 5 wide receiver on there. I mean, he has a top 3 tight end, but I would just see a top 5 wide receiver. I mean, they have an incredible running game. Their line, they solidified so many things this year. So he's always fun for me to watch. And I think he's going to be a guy that will be with that team for a long time to come. Same with the next guy, Josh Allen. He's proven himself. We just talked about it. I don't think he's focused on his golf game, and I don't want him to be. I want him to be out in that field. And like Ryan Fitzpatrick said in an interview I saw him do the other day, that, hey, I love Josh Allen, right? Ryan said, I don't want to go to the Bills because when I go play somewhere, I end up usually playing because the starter got hurt or something happened. So I get it. That happened to me a ton of my career too. And I understand it. So we all want to go out there and watch Josh Allen play. I mean, last year's playoff game against the Chiefs, they lost, was just one of the greatest games I've ever watched. I mean, there's been some incredible games in the NFL, but watching that game, watching Josh Allen kind of just become the star right in front of us was so much fun to watch, because people, believe me, when you're down and it's the fourth quarter and you got to score, it's not easy to do. And that man took over the game, and then we saw what Patrick Mahomes could do. So it was just back and forth. What an incredible game. Moving on, right? We go to the Panthers next. The Panthers are kind of an anomaly to me. Like, I would love to see them win more games. I've known Christian McCaffrey since he's been little. I think he's a incredible talent. I hope he gets to stay on the field because he's the guy that those quarterbacks need. Sam Darnold, he started last year. They played Kyle Allen some. So I don't know. I just think the Panthers, they need some stability at that position. And I hope that Sam Darnold can do that. Obviously, right now, he's kind of one of the lower-tiered quarterbacks. But, he has the skills. He has the ability. And he's just got to go out and prove it. We've seen him do great things. We've seen him make mistakes out there. But he's got to use the weapons that are around him down in Charlotte. They have a good team. And Carolina. And, I think he can do it. But he's just got to go prove it day in and day out. Next team, the Bears. You guys up in Chicago at WCGO. You guys are listening. You went from a guy a couple years ago in Mitch Trubisky to last year not trying to rookie out, trying to figure out who's going to play. I think the rookie showed us he's got amazing skills. He'll probably be the starter this year in Justin Fields. But I think there's a bright future for the kid, man. He can throw it. I've seen him make some incredible runs, make people miss. That's what you're looking for. I think the Bears are a place that they're just yearning to go back and deep into the playoffs. And I hope they can do it. I like this new coach. I think the guys like him. And I think that Justin Fields could have a great year. Now, he's got to do the things that make him great. Not turn over the football, make the plays with his feet when he needs to, and just be the solid leader that every quarterback needs to be. So it's going to be exciting for the Bears this year. I don't think they have all the parts that they really want, but having the quarterback that they see for the future for a long time to come is a huge part that a lot of teams wish they had. And if we go to the next team, the Bengals, what can you say? They drafted a guy that, we knew he was an incredible college player, set some incredible records that may never be broken in college at LSU, and then comes to the Bengals and just was lighting it on fire, and then gets injured, and I think one of my favorite people to watch play is Joe Burrow, because I've been sacked that many times in a game. I think that they played Tennessee in the playoffs last year, and he was hit. He might have been sacked 9 times. I don't know how many times he was hit, maybe somewhere in the teens, but it didn't bother him. It was amazing to watch. Like, he just kept getting up and said, okay, I'm just going to do this myself then, basically. If you guys aren't going to protect me, we're going to complete it. Jamar, do what you do. I'm going to get you the ball. And everyone else on that team. And it was just a lot of fun to watch. Man, what a talent Joe Burrow is. And I think that, boy, he's really brought the Bengals back into prominence in the AFC North. It's a tough division, right? Steelers have dominated that. The Baltimore Ravens have dominated that division. The Browns and the Bengals have kind of been the little step kids, you know what I mean? And they've been behind, but boy, not now. The Browns have put together some really good weapons. I don't even want to talk about their whole quarterback situation because it's tough. It's pathetic right now. But as far as the Bengals go, boy, Joe Burrow's just kind of vaulted them ahead of everyone else. So what a great division. I can't wait to watch it. We talked earlier about the Steelers QBs. We've talked about Lamar Jackson. So every one of those games, I think we're all going to watch and watch them heavily. You go to the Browns, I don't know what's going to happen there. You got a guy in Deshaun Watson that they gave a lot of money to, but no one knows what's going to happen. Personally, with that many claims against them and everything that's happened, and I just don't see it and why he's out there. I don't know if they're going to trade Baker Mayfield or what they're going to do. I think it's so hard for a team to have that much turmoil going on. Even though they have some incredible talent on offense and defense, but I don't know what's going to happen. I wish we did. I wish we all did, but it's really going to be interesting to see how the Browns handle this season. Now we're on to the Cowboys, right? NFC East. We just interviewed Dennis Mallin, and he's an NFC East guy. He's a Giants guy. The Cowboys always have incredible players, always have good teams, but their leader the last couple of years has shown that he can go out and win a bunch of games. We just got to see the Cowboys this year. I think this is your year with Zeke in the backfield, the receiving core they have, the defense they put together, and with their leader, Dak Prescott. Dak's just got to go out. And, for me, if they don't get to the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl, I think it's not the season they wanted to have. Dak can do it. He's made every throw. We've seen he can be a good leader. I just hope that he can stay healthy. He can put it all on the field, and I think if that happens, the Cowboys could be right up there. And the NFC East I don't think it's going to be soft this year. I think it's going to be a great division and a lot of fun to watch. And then if you go to the Broncos, boy, they had some turmoil in quarterbacks over the last so many years. You know, if you think about it, that I mean, they've had Joe Flacco there as a starter, right? Drew Lock. There's probably other guys. I think Teddy Bridgewater was there not too long ago. And now they trade for a guy that says, hey, I can be here, but how long can he be there? Russell Wilson's played a lot. He's an incredible, incredible quarterback. We all love watching him. I think he kind of got rejuvenated going to Denver. And I think he is going to have a lot of fun. But it's also like, okay, how many years can we get out of Russell? I hope it's a lot, because I think that I played in Denver. I enjoyed it. Denver's an awesome place. The fans are incredible. Playing at used to be Mile High, but the new stadium, I can't remember what it's called, but it's so much fun. Like, home games are just incredible. I think Russell Wilson, he's used to having those kind of 12th man home games, and it'll be very similar when he plays for the Broncos. So it's going to be interesting to see Russell Wilson this year in a new uniform. We're so used to seeing him in that Seahawks uniform. So it's going to be very interesting to see him play this year, but I think he's going to do great. And I think the Broncos and all their fans are very anxious for that first game to watch him play. The Lions, I played for the Lions. You know, you think about it, they had a guy there for a long, long time, Matthew Stafford. Just gave everything he could to the organization. I think he loved it there. You know, the people loved him, just never got over the hump of winning games. Goes to the Rams last year, wins the Super Bowl. Really excited for him, happy for him. They do a trade with the Rams. They get Jared Goff. And, I think Jared Goff's finding out what Matthew Stafford went through for all those years, right? Jared Goff, as we've seen, he's a good quarterback, can make a lot of throws, do a lot of things. I don't know if Jared's one of the upper tier guys, but he's at the Lions, and for some reason it's always a challenge being there, right? Whether it's injuries or things happen or this and that. But I liked their coach. He was a former player. You got a lot of former players on the staff. I think he coaches the right way. He gives guys opportunities. He lets them make decisions. And I think that's what it comes down to, is that, when you're in the NFL, you're a grown man. And sometimes when decisions are taken away from you, it brings you down. It doesn't let you become who you should be. And so I think that the coach up there understands that. And I think that the Lions, I think they have it. They showed a little bit last year, but I hopefully in that, that NFC, that they can go and be competitive this year. I think they really can. If we go to the next team, Packers, what are you going to say about the Packers? Nothing. We know it's Aaron Rodgers. The only thing I will say, it's going to be very interesting to watch him this year, because he doesn't have two of his receivers that he had last year. His best receiver in the league his name just slipped my mind. But if Gabe and Gunnar were here, they would tell me. But it's going to be very interesting. Aaron can put it on a rope wherever he wants. Chest to chest, wherever he needs it, makes incredible plays, has a savvy of the game like not a lot of quarterbacks have. It's a lot of fun to watch, but it's going to be interesting to see with, what talent comes out that is surrounding him this year. So Aaron Rodgers, we know what he can do. He's got to prove that he can beat San Francisco in the playoffs. So when he does that, I think that they'll have a chance to go far. Matt Ryan, we talked, we're on Houston now, Texans, Davis Mills, I think he showed some promise last year. I think that the year before, they had a lot of controversy with Sean being there. He didn't play at all last year. Davis was kind of quiet, but man, when I watched him, he showed a lot of good skills. He could make a lot of the throws. He's a big kid. I think the Texans really like him. And I think that he's going to be there for a while. I hope so anyway, because I like him. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he can do great things. I hope they put some really good players around him in the future, because you can't do it all yourself. It's a team game. So we'll see. I think Davis Mills will be the guy in Houston. The Colts have had a whirlwind at quarterback forever. Matt Ryan's the guy there now. I can just think back to when what's his name came from San Diego. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. They had Jacoby Brissett. They've had a ton of guys come through, and they just let Carson Wentz go after he was only there for a short time. So I hope that Frank Reich can get to where he wants to go with Matt Ryan. And I think they're going to rely heavily on Jonathan Taylor. I mean, what a running game they have, what a line they have. So I think if Matt Ryan can go in and do the things he does, be very accurate, get the ball to the right people, I think the Colts are going to be pretty good this year. Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. I don't know if he, if you asked him, like, what do you think of your rookie year? He probably made some good throws, probably did some things he really liked, probably would like to have it back again, but is a competitor. Obviously we've seen him play on the biggest stage in college at Clemson, but I think that he can really be a guy that can put some people around, which they do. They have some really good players around him. But he's got to go. He's another guy. This is his second year. He's got to go out and prove it that he can do it. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch him. Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes. Don't got to say anything else. We know that. Derek Carr, Las Vegas. Man, he's been there a long time. If you think and you look at his career, he's been there a lot longer than you would realize, but he's been the stable guy. He's been the leader on that team for a while. A good friend of mine used to be his offensive coordinator, and Greg Olson, and Greg said amazing things about him. And, I think they just had some turmoil last year. Now they got an incredible receiver. They've already had good parts to their team. They always had a big line. They got a good defense. So it's going to be that whole division, that whole AFC West is going to be, I think every game is going to be super competitive, high scoring, and the bets will just be rolling in. I think that FanDuel and DraftKings, if they had a division to pick that said this is the only ones we want everybody to bet on, it's probably the AFC West. So if we go on, if you look at another guy, Justin Herbert, I mean, man, what a division this is going to be. Herbert's just shown what he can do. One of my favorite quarterbacks to watch, how quick his release is, how he stands in the pocket. Big guy. In that game against the Raiders last year, fourth down, just going for it. Their coach has some of the biggest cojones I've ever seen, just going for it on fourth down all the time. As players, we love it. And, yeah, you're not going to get them all. And, yeah, they didn't get one in a big game, but, I don't think that coach is going to stop, and the players don't want him to stop. And Justin Herbert is going to be a leader of that team for a long time to come. Matt Stafford, we talk about, hey, they might repeat. He's got one of the best receivers, had one of the best seasons ever in the NFL, Cooper Kupp. And Matt Stafford, I think he just fit right into that team. Is tough, strong. I think that's what they needed as a leader to get them over the top. And, Matt Stafford, what can you say about him? Strong arm, just did some incredible things for that Rams team last year. Tua, I was kind of like, I'm not a Tua fan, but because what happened to my boy Fitzy down there, I thought Fitzy was doing such an amazing job in Miami. He was bringing that team together. It was so much fun to watch. And then all of a sudden they say, we're just going to play Tua now. So, but Tua is, he's got some good parts. He just got Tyreek Hill there. They got a great running back. They got Jalen Waddle. They got good tight end. So this is his year. I think if there's a guy in all of the NFL that we got to look at and say, okay, everybody's put a lot of marbles into him, everybody's really looking at him, I think this is the guy everybody's going to watch in Tua this year down in Miami. Kirk Cousins, been a quarterback a long time, up at the Vikings. I just feel like he's got to do something this year to kind of get him over the top, right? He's been kind of consistently at the top end of QBs, but I really want to see him do something that just separates him. He's had some amazing games, very high completion percentage, always doing the right thing. But now we need him to go and win that big game. All of us Vikings, us old Vikings, we need Kirk Cousins to really, we know he's good. We know he's going to do everything right that we want a quarterback to do. Now, all right, Kurt, take him to the big game, because the Vikings, if any team in the NFL, there are a lot of teams that haven't been there, but any team, the Vikings, they need a Super Bowl championship. I'm just saying it. They need one. Like, that fan base is incredible. You get them rolling in that dome, no better place. Mac Jones, New England. I thought he did a heck of a job stepping in after, a guy that is the GOAT, the best quarterback of all time in the NFL. Just obviously won all the Super Bowls there, just did an amazing job, carried that team for so long. And then for a young kid, even though he played at Alabama, they won national championships, things like that. But for him to come in, kind of take that spot, it's kind of like the Steelers this year, right? Like somebody trying to replace Big Ben. It was the same thing. I think Mac Jones did a great job with it. I think now everybody's expecting even more. Okay, we got a glimpse of it. We got to see what he can do. All right, everyone. We didn't get through all of them. One last guy I got to talk about, Daniel Jones. Daniel, I hope this is your year. You got the talent. We've seen you make incredible plays, but I hope Daniel Jones is the guy that we really want to root for, because as our previous guest said, Dennis Mallin, that's my guy. That's my team. He's an NFC East guy. I'm an NFC East guy. That's where I was drafted. I'm more of a Commanders guy. I hope they do well, but I don't know. I don't see it. I hope Carson Wentz does well for everyone. But, hey, I appreciate you joining me on this live episode. I appreciate all my callers. I appreciate my last guest. Thank you, everyone, from Multi-Format Network to Sounder. And it's just been a great experience. I don't know how I talk this much. I usually don't. But when I talk quarterbacks, I can talk all day. So I hope you enjoyed it. Look for me next week, same time, same area code, same number. All right. Thanks for joining me on Huddle Up with Gus. We'll see you next week.
All good?
All right. Tell Dennis thanks, and we'll talk later. All right. All right. See ya.
Hi, Paul. I'm good. That was so fun. Right when I got on, he was talking about Bama football. You still there? It's good. It was fun. It was fun. A lot of static on the brick. I've logged on and off a couple of times. Maybe. Still a lot of static. You want me to log out and come back?